I'm excited to see all of you. Karibuni sana. It's been a lovely holiday in the middle of the week. Kindly let me know what you were up to today. Kindly type on the chat and let us know what were you up to today? What were you doing today, being a holiday in the middle of the week? I know people have been having at a ball. I saw there that people in Kondele, you had an amazing day today, just celebrating Madaraka Day in Kisumu Shete, Dala. What a day, what a day. What have you been up to? Where are you listening us from? Which county? Let me know, what were you doing today? Kindly type on the chat. My name is Mwangi Chege. I'm the host here at Candid Conversation. We are doing season 2, and tonight we are tackling a nice topic, amazing, and I believe it shall be enlightening. It's not you, it's trauma. PTSD. We will be unveiling that in a short while. But kindly for now, send out your shout outs. Let me see where are you listening us from? Where are you tuning in from? And what were you up to today? Kindly participate. Let me see what you are doing today. I'll be reading all of that shortly. But I want to say karibuni sana here at Candid Conversation Season 2. We have been having a ball. We've been having an awesome time here, learning, being enlightened, being encouraged, and having an awesome time. Ladies and gentlemen, last week we had an awesome time, and tonight I promise you it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be a good treat. So you better put on your safety belt, relax, and let's have a highlight of Madaraka Day here at Candid Conversation Season 2. I'm waiting to see what were you doing. What have you been up to today? I want to read out all those, and also let me know where you're watching us from. As for me, I'm coming live to you from Kiambu County, and here at this show we are going to have a good time. I want to also give a chance to my co-host Janet to just say a big hello to all of you. Janet.
Hi guys, my name is Janet, and karibu sana to another segment of a session today of Ptsd. Karibuni for me.
All right, I'm having some trouble. I don't know if you can hear. Janet, you're muted. Okay. Karibuni sana here at Candid Conversations. I don't know if you can hear me, Janet. Janet, can you hear me? All right, Janet, can you hear me? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like I promised, we're going to have a good time tonight. And let me read a few shout outs here. I can see Nancy Okita. You're saying I celebrated the day well. It was lit. Irene Wamwas, you're saying that my family and I went out today. It was great. Mercy Derito celebrated with friends and family. Tabitha Akoth, I don't know where you're tuning in from. I wish you did that. You're saying I can hear you. All right, thank you for confirming that. Caro is saying that celebrated with friends, amazing time. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a good time tonight. Thank you for tuning in here at Candid Conversation Season 2. We are almost at the end of this season. We have only, after tonight, we'll only have one more episode to go. So I want to promise you all these are gonna be great. I want to acknowledge our big sponsors, Outburst Limited, all right, who have put in together this show. And Outburst does a few things they do. They have corporate training and team building, which they call Outburst training solutions. And then we have Outburst events where we manage all your events from A to Z. We also do, we have an arm of tours. So we look at your travel logistics, you name it, and we will deliver and take you there. We keep our promise because you are experiencing the people. So I also want to acknowledge all our sponsors. By the way, today I have been refreshing myself with warriors, all right, enjoying myself throughout the day because I know I talk a lot here at Candid Conversation, so I have to keep my throat nice and wet. And so I've been refreshing myself with warriors coming to you in half liter, 1 liter, 5 liters, 10 and 20 liter bottles. Kindly grab warriors in the shop near you. It's coming your way soon. All right. I also want to say a big thank you to our other sponsors and partners, Serena Hotels. We want to say a big thank you to all our sponsors. Sorry, guys, we are, we are all still learning this thing, working remotely, and sometimes we have technical issues. But I promise we will do as the best we can. All right, and keep this live. Okay, so to all our sponsors, want to say thank you so much for holding our hand and encouraging us. To also just let you know that this is part of our CSR, our corporate social responsibility, bringing to you candid conversations where we talk about wellness and health. And this season we have been tackling mental health because throughout this pandemic, it has been tough on our mind, but we are in it and we're gonna get out together. So kindly, let's support one another. Let's do what we have to do and support one another throughout this time. Want to say thank you for tuning in. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we at Outburst have made a commitment. We have made a commitment to support the hospice here in Kenya. And we've been working with the Geo Hospice. And so we have made a commitment, whether there's COVID or not, whether the times are tough or not, we have to support them because they are in need and we have to hold their hand and support them. They are close in our heart because some of us have enjoyed services there and with our loved ones. So the number is 750822. That's where we are taking our support. Kindly send your 50, 100, 200 bob, 1,000, whatever it is. Kindly support us, 750-822. That's the till number. And we can promise that from this support, we will be supporting the Geo Hospice and the hospices here in Kenya. That's our mission. They are in need, guys. They need sugar, rice, Vaseline, diapers, whatever you need. And let me tell you, in this COVID season, their loved ones have not been able to visit as often because of the restrictions. And so even for us, the much we can do is send our support. We don't go in numbers like we used to do before, but we can do it from a distance. With your support, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do that. So asanteni sana. Let me see some money coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly, somebody, kindly send something, send what you have. Last week we had we gave a giveaway to the guy who sent money first. We did not pick the person who sent the most. We decided that we will reward and give away something to someone who sent money the first one. And the winner was none other than Randall. And Randall, a cake is coming your way. I will be showcasing your cake shortly, and that cake is coming your way. It's ready, it's ready, it's ready, courtesy Cakes by Violet. And so that cake is coming your way, and I know that you'll enjoy it. Kindly send us a photo so that we meza mate when you're cutting it and enjoying it with your family. All right, so we are ready to do this. I'll only ask that we acknowledge our sponsors one more time, and then we are ready for tonight. Okay, we are ready for tonight. So to all our sponsors, Danny, I don't know if we can do this. All our sponsors, Warriors, Serena Hotels, Cakes by Violet, Charisma Logistics, Kefka, East Africa Institute of Professional Counseling. You guys have been amazing, outstanding. Without you, this show will not be put together. You have really helped us tackle this issue of mental health. Shako Angio, thank you for making us look good on the poster. Okay, Namiri Sports and Fitness Apparel, thank you for your package and just surprising us and holding our hand. Warriors, we want to say thank you for refreshing us. And then our one and only school that has been walking the journey with us, Loreto Convent in Songari, we salute you, we salute you. I want to also remind you that, ladies and gentlemen, you can be part of the sponsors and partners. Kindly contact us, and even after this season, we will be doing season 3. You can be part and parcel of us. You can make an impact in this generation and the generation to come. Our numbers are right there, 0712 329 320, 0712 329 320. Kindly reach out to us and we will appreciate. Janet, are you there? My co-host Janet, are you there? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where my co-host has disappeared to. You know, last week I was thrown out. I was in darkness. Guys could not see my handsome face, but tonight I thank God that I can see all of your pretty faces and handsome faces, and it's gonna be great. So tonight, our topic tonight is it's not you. It's trauma. It could be trauma, you know, and so this is called PTSD, and the person who is coming to talk to us tonight is a practicing mental health professional. Okay, BSc, counseling psychology. He has a master's in organizational psychology, a PhD, and talks about addiction. She's an addiction expert, trauma and psychological debriefing therapist, loss and grief, and certified court annexed mediator. Wow. Okay, she has, for 12 years, she has been consulting psychologists for Adrian, Kenya, East Equity Africa Clinics, Wendell Hospital, and Lavington Girls High School, among others. You know, her CV is amazingly great. And so she's not new to us here at Candid Conversation. She did a fantastic job last time. We had to bring her back again. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to invite on the screen next to you, our one and only beautiful doctor who did an amazing job. She will do more fantastic tonight because it's Madaraka Day. So karibu sana, Dr. Josephine Kinya. Karibu. All right, Daktari, we cannot hear you. Kindly unmute.
Unmute yourself. Hi.
All right.
Are we there?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah.
Karibu.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi, for that awesome introduction, and thank you for having me a second time.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So today we are looking at PTSD. And I like you are adding that it is not you, it is PTSD. Yeah, this is, yeah, and that is correctly said, because this is one of disorders that we walk around with, and we actually don't know if we're experiencing PTSD. Yeah. So I think very fast we will move into first looking at the mother of this disorder, which is trauma. Yeah, trauma is the parents. And then we have PTSD if trauma is not handled or the intervention is not given well in good time. So trauma, basically, we are talking about somebody who was experiencing a life-threatening event. And these small things that will count that we don't consider as traumatic as such is, for example, the things we went through during, the childhood experiences. For example, bullying in school. Maybe witnessing parents fighting, or parents, there's no joy at home, and it is very traumatic because there's no happiness, there's no joy at home. Abandonment, like when we take kids to boarding school, at a very young age, it is very traumatic for them because they experience what we call separation anxiety. So it is also traumatic. Loss, for example, when a child loses a parent or a sibling, it's very traumatic because this is a member of the family who is gone and never to be seen. And sometimes children don't understand. FGM is also a traumatic experience for children, Other things that would count are neglects. Like, for example, you find we are a very busy society, and we are brought in caregivers, like house helps to take care of our children, and we don't have time. Parents don't have time to be with their children. So what happens is that this is very traumatic. Especially people who bring in, you have a house girl every other month, every other, it really affects the children, and that is very, very traumatic. So all these amounts to trauma. Before even we talk about adults experiencing traumatic experiences, even as children experience trauma, and they ultimately also experience PTSD. Now, the challenge with children is because children always say, I'm okay, I'm okay. You ask them, how are you feeling today? I'm okay. But they are not okay, So for grown-ups, then we will automatically know that, for example, if there is a bombing or there is war or anything that is really like causing a lot of anxiety, then we will know this group of people is going through PTSD, trauma. So, but for children, it's different. So when we talk about trauma, it is very, very important to realize that trauma it gets into people, it is just the same as the physical illness. And that is why intervention is very, very necessary. And when we talk about things like rape, natural disasters, like floods, like the floods we had the other day, volcanic eruptions that we had in Congo, I think it's Congo, some time back, witnessing an accident, terrorists or war. These are life-threatening events, and they leave impact. They impact on our emotional well-being or psychological well-being. But the challenge is, like I was sharing with someone today, is that no one sees these things. No one sees, and sometimes we experience trauma until it becomes part of us, like part of us. Like, for example, we find coping mechanisms, like we are going to see, and we live, like you find somebody living in a very abusive relationship, and it is very traumatic, but they live there. They are there day in, day out, 1 year, 2 years. You hear that years have been in this relationship, and it's abusive. Trauma, because naturally we find coping mechanisms that will make us continue living in that kind of a situation. So there's so much. Even loss is also very traumatic for us, but we don't see it. We only see, I tell people we see ill health when you see somebody with a bandage on the hand, and you know, for example, for the HR who are present, you know, this person needs maybe some leave off days or something like that. So it is a very, very, very serious issue, but it goes unnoticed. Now, in psychiatry, we say that, you know, when we experience a painful, an emotionally painful or distressful or shocking traumatic event, it impacts on our psychological well-being, on our mental well-being, on our spiritual well-being, you know. So it's a very serious condition that is birthed through trauma. And what happens is that when we go through trauma and it is not treated or intervention is not given, that is now when we graduate into, we fall into PTSD. And as the word suggests, PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder. That, which is, if it's not handled properly, then we also involve medication to treat PTSD, you know. And there are so many reactions that will come up, will be seen. In children, you see many things. I'm emphasizing on children because sometimes we think children don't experience some of these things. So you'll find that a child is hypervigilant. You know, you if it's a baby, you see maybe the mother in a very difficult pregnancy, they were stressed up, there was so much happening in their lives. And you see this child they don't want to keep quiet. They're hypervigilant. You give them to another person, they start crying. You know, they have anger. Children, you see children throwing things. Those are some of the signs. Anger, wounded heart. When we say someone has a wounded heart, you see children who are not, you look at a child, 1, 2 years, up to 5 years, they are not able to express joy, you know, or even when they are sad, they're just there. The mood is just quiet. You also see things like young children having suicidal thoughts. And that is very common also with the teens when they are going through PTSD. Suicidal thoughts, they're acting out. You find a child is being moved from one school to another. This time they're in this school, they have done something, they are expelled and they go. You see a child has gone through 4 schools before they finish 4th form, and the problem is actually PTSD. When you come to grown-ups, you find people having very dysfunctional relationships. And when they get into a relationship, the people who they attract are also people with issues, you know. They have very unstable intimate relationships. One partner maybe in 1 year, another year, and they are very, very unstable. So you find they are going through PTSD and they are not even aware. You find somebody is so unfriendly in the office. They are withdrawn and they are untouchables. Like you can't even touch their things. You can't even share their seats because they either erupt or even start a fight. They are not, they cannot have a positive conversation. But these people, they are dealing with something. It is PTSD, you know. So we have all these reactions that show fear. And sometimes even teenagers, you find some teenagers with rashes. And we always say that, you know, and it's because this one will go, it's because it's hormonal and things like that. But it is PTSD, skin rash, skin breakouts, and stuff like that. We also have guilt, children walking with guilt, and even grown-ups walking with guilt and shame, because they think maybe what happened, whether it was rape, they were raped, it was a traumatic event, and they feel they had something to do with it. Sometimes with the children, for example, when parents fight, very traumatic for children, because then we interfere with their security, their sense of security at home. They always feel guilty and shame. And what happens? We push them into depression because they always think mom and dad are fighting because of me. It is me, I'm the cause. One child told me that, you know, I see like if I was not born, then my mom and dad would not be fighting, they would be together. So we have all these, like, we are saying people walking with living life with the PTSD and they are not aware. And you find work is affected, like I said, relationships, they withdraw. Others are numb. They look very okay, they're excelling at work and school, but they have numbed that. And what happens is that those emotions that are numbed, they keep on erupting in different settings. So how do we then cope with it? For example, for childhood trauma, which is very common with most people, very common. And that is why when people come for therapy, what we do first, we take their history. Where were you born? Who lived with you? What happened? Did you go to boarding? Did you, they give an account of their childhood. Whom did you grow up with and stuff like that? Is when we realize that, what I would always advise is, if you realize you have signs and symptoms of PTSD, like we are going to see, be a parent to yourself. Start taking care of yourself. You may say, forgive those guys who maybe your mother didn't mother you well, parent you well, your parents were very strict. We went through corporal punishment and all that. Just parent yourself. Do the things that love yourself, start loving yourself. Practice relaxation, learn about PTSD. What is all this what is this anger all about? Why can't I have meaningful relationships? Why am I, like, anytime I'm in a relationship with someone, there's breakup, there's always breakup. Why can't I coexist with my employees and colleagues in an healthier way? So it is always important to learn about it. The other thing is actually talking to people and going for therapy. You can look for people to talk to, or you can just go for therapy and you seek, and the counselor or the psychologist that you see, they are going to be able to help you. Then avoiding drugs. Sometimes when we go through PTSD, you'll find people looking for other ways of coping and running away from that pain because they don't want to address it. So you find that people really indulging in alcohol and even drugs or sex, or gambling, all these addictive behaviors. Then we also advise that you practice what we call yoga and mindfulness, and all these will help us, work and help us come out of this problem. So there are so many ways. There are so many when we go, for example, for therapy. There are so many techniques that the therapist or the professional will be able to go through and help us, overcome the trauma. So like I said, there are so many reactions of PTSD. We have physical. You find people, sometimes you have headache that doesn't go. You have headache, you have stomach aches. We call them psychosomatic symptoms. You are fatigued. You're just fatigued. So those are physical reactions of PTSD. We have mental. You just feel confused, disorganized thoughts. You can't make decisions. Sometimes intrusive thoughts. You feel like that experience that you went through is like you are reliving it. We also have emotional. Those are mood swings. You find somebody in the office is just having moods. They are not even predictable, because today they are saying hi to everybody, tomorrow they have shut. Being irritable also is also a sign. And it's also good to have what we call, self-awareness. Am I really overreacting when, say, for example, there's something small that I'm dealing with, maybe even with my children? So irritability, you find you're just irritable. Sadness and anxiety, you're just anxious. You're never settled. So those could be all symptoms that you're exhibiting of PTSD. Spiritual, we also have people who even query about God, like existence of God. Where is God? Why did this end to happen? Why did I go through this? Where were you, God? And then you find that they are querying the existence of God. They feel so discouraged. They lose hope in life. They lose even connection, and they have guilt, and they become very cynical. They will never see anything positive, even if you're having a discussion. They always see the negative side of life. So we have so many signs, like touching them here and there. We have avoidance. You find people who have gone through PTSD. You find somebody who had maybe a very abusive partner, and they are saying all men are bad, or all women are bad. I'm not getting married again. So they are just avoiding. They avoid those circumstances. And I'll go through this very quickly. Then in attention, they are not able to concentrate. Vagueness. You're having a conversation with someone, but you feel like this conversation is not going somewhere because they are so much engaged into the feelings of whatever they went through in the past, whether in their childhood or later in life. Hyperarousal. Then we have also memory failure. They can't remember things. You tell somebody, I called you yesterday, they are telling you, I can't remember you called me. Loss of trail of thought. You know, you sometimes you find you're talking to someone, they are telling you, what was I saying? What was I saying? Tulikuwa tunasema nini? What were we saying? You know, it is gone. And all these are all signs of PTSD. So what I would advise is, it is always important to seek help. Go to a trained professional, talk to them, and you'll be given a treatment so that you can be able to live a healthy life. Sorry, I forgot to mention that we also have behavioral symptoms or reactions. And you see all these things. You do very risky behavior and involve yourself in very risky behaviors. Like, for example, going out partying the whole night, you know. You also find in the children, you find them, a child who has not been bedwetting, they are now bedwetting, you know. You should always investigate that further. A child who had started communicating very well and they have flow of speech, now they are not doing that. All these are signs that this child, and by the way, even when children are babies at their fetal stage, they can still experience a trauma because they feel the emotions of the mother. So it is always important to note that. We also have things like compulsive behavior. You know, you find even random buying, you know, random buying, and you do things without thinking twice, and then you realize, by the way, I should not have done this. You know, conflict in relationships, fights. Any relationship you get into, you are just fighting. Maybe you're in the house with your spouse, and small things you find yourself fighting. And sometimes you find likes attract rights. So you find the other person is fighting and you pick a fight and you both fight, right? So it is very, very important to also notice that. Also panic attacks. Like nowadays you hear children, you are just called in school and mtoto wako ameanguka, anguka, panic attacks. And that means there's something this child is dealing with, PTSD, you know, but we think that maybe this child doesn't want to be in school or stuff like that. Guilt, and this is very common with the teenagers, and where they think that they have something to do with what happened, whether they were raped or mommy and daddy are fighting. They think they have something, they are to be blamed. One teenager told me she wished that she was not born because the parents would be together. Now they are separated, and they would be together, living together happily. But now that she is here, that is why they are going through all these problems. So yeah, so all these are signs and reactions of PTSD. And let me tell you, before even we get to know it is PTSD, we have gone to hospital, we have gone for other physical illnesses. Like if I have a stomachache, of course, I'll go and buy dawa from maybe self-prescribed. If I have this persistent headache, I always think that maybe it is migraine headache or it is malaria. Now we are talking about malaria, you know, but that is not, or even pains, joint pains. You know, we have pains all over, we are feeling tired or vomiting. You know, all these are psychosomatic symptoms of PTSD. So these are all signs that we work with, but we don't know that it has to do with whatever a traumatic event that we went through.
Wow.
Maybe over to you, Mom.
Wow. You know, Dr. I'm just here sitting and listening. I did not want to interrupt because that's so much knowledge. Now, you know, when we were planning this with my team, we were just having fun and laughing. And one of the things we asked ourselves is, I think most of us are going through this thing without knowledge, because if PTSD is about experiencing and you know and the way we experience so much bad news, even like watching the news in the media today, does that mean that most Kenyans are suffering PTSD without realizing?
Thank you, Monkey. Watching TV does not cause PTSD. Any media, whether social media, TV, or pictures, what happens is when you witness a traumatic event, or you hear, you know, somebody is narrating, and somebody that is close to you, maybe it's a close relative or a very close friend, they are telling you what they went through. Okay. You experience, you witness, or you witness people going through it, or yourself, you are part of it, so we call you a survivor, or you are hearing somebody telling you about it. But watching TV, reading magazines, pictures does not cause PTSD.
Or that did not cause. It is when you experience.
It's when you experience or witness.
Okay. Experience or witness. All right, Daktari, I'll be coming back to you shortly. I'll give you a few minutes to quench your thirst with warriors. All right, I've been doing that while you are talking. So kindly quench your thirst. As I acknowledge, our sponsors and partners, I want to say a big thank you to all our sponsors, all our partners for being here with us, for holding our hands. Outburst Limited, Serena Hotels, Cakes by Violet, Asanteni Sana, Charisma Logistics, Loreto Convent Msongari, Kenya Hospices and Palliative Care Association. You are stars, let me tell you, and East Africa Institute of Professional Counseling. We want to say a big thank you. Shako Angio, thank you for making us look really good on the poster, and Namiri Sports and Fitness Apparels. Let me tell you, your gifts did well. And then Warriors for quenching our thirst. We want to say thank you. I want to ask Janet to kindly tell us about our CSR and the pay bill number. Janet?
Yes, guys. Yes, thank you so much, Mwangi. Thank you so much, Dr. Josephine. I think for me, we are here introducing our CSR guys. We want to visit them again, and we are excited that you get to Changa for us, our father at Changa for us today. So this is our Lipa and M-Pesa till number 750822. Guys, kindly give so that you're able to support the palliative care that the GIO does for our people. You can donate 10 bob, you can donate 20 bob. We are not biased on any donation. We would like to go and visit them because they really do a good job. This money goes a long way to ensure that they have food. It goes a long way to ensure that people are also able to be admitted there as well. It goes a long way to just give moral support and ensure that even counselors are there to support them. So kindly, guys, 750822 is our till number. 10 bob, 20 bob, 5 bob, 50 bob. Kindly, guys, give so that you're able to support Tigio Hospice Center. Asanteni.
Janet, you're only taking small monies. You're not taking checks for 10,000, 20,000,
10,000,
or 100,000.
1 million, guys. Let's not limit you guys. Remember, in the Bible, it says, give and it shall be given back to you. Okay, so guys, kindly help us, and so that you can support the GIO Hospice.
Amazing. Want to say thank you. Last week, ladies and gentlemen, we called you out to support, and you did an awesome job. And then we decided to give the cake to the winner, who was the person who sent money first to the till. And that person is none other than Randall, who went away with a cake courtesy Cakes by Violet. Look at that. And so Randall, we want to ask that you please take photos cutting the cake, enjoying each piece. We want to see that, and we are drooling. The cake looks amazing. I'm told it is, let me see, someone told me what the cake is. I think amarula and something. Okay, chocolate amarula. Wow. Chocolate amarula courtesy Cakes by Violet. Asante sana, Cakes by Violet, for sending that cake out. We are truly grateful to all our sponsors. We want to say a big thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this as CSR. We are out to make an impact in this country, starting with us. I want to say a big thank you to all the people who are here tonight listening to Daktari, because our lives will never be the same again, and also to all our sponsors for holding our hand. We want to say thank you. I want to encourage all of us to kindly ask our questions as much as we can, okay? Ask questions. Someone is asking, and you can be Changa using Bitcoins. After hizo tuma, we'll know what to do with them. we'll know how to do it. And Dr. Josephine, are you ready for this Q&A? All right, are you ready? Have you quenched your thirst?
Yes, yeah.
All right, so someone is asking. Okay, Dr. Someone is asking, and I liked the way you tackled, before I start my Q&A, I really liked how you tackled PTSD in regards to kids, that kids are also affected, all right? And I want to say a big thank you. Now, just from my experiences, okay, I want to ask, what happens when someone has had multiple bad experiences? So I remember you talking about someone who has gone to more than 2-3 schools, and then what if they have done that? They have experienced death of a loved one. They have been in a bad relationship. They have witnessed a bad accident. Like, what happens when someone witnesses multiple bad experiences, Dr.
Yeah, that happens, Mr. Mwangi. Thank you very much. It's a very, very good question, very relevant question. People experience multiple traumas, like you said, and what happens is I would advise such people to go for therapy to a professional, a certified psychologist or counselor. And what happens in therapy is that these traumas will be handled according to the order of priority. There's what is important to the patient. Say, for example, this person has went through childhood trauma. This stepmother was just on this kid and all that, very traumatic. Then from there, they got into a bad school or a school that had not very good kids. So they went through bullying. Then in their adult life, as they come into therapy, they have been in an abusive relationship. Those are now multiple traumas. So the professional will be able to help according to the order of priority. The patient will mention what is more urgent to them, what is more important to them. So that is what happens, and I'll always recommend for them to go for therapy. Then that will be handled step by step. Yeah.
All right. Amazing. So the priority is the patient is the one who decides what the priority is.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. That is amazing, because I was talking to a friend and said, I'm almost end of the road. They have had so many bad experiences. So I believe that is. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I am also giving away our Outburst t-shirts, all right? I will tell you, these ones tonight, I am giving 3 to the people who engage us as much as possible. So kindly send in your questions, all right? I'm reading one to you, Daktari. How can pregnant mothers cope to avoid affecting the baby, all right? Let's help the ladies.
Okay, thank you so much for the person who has asked that question. Thank you, Mr. Mwangi, because that is very, very important. That's a very important question, and that is one of the things that most mothers don't actually know. That the fetus is affected by the emotional state of the mother. So if we are fighting with my boyfriend or my fiancé or whoever it is, and rushing out and fighting in the office, the baby feels it. So the question is, how do we prevent, right?
Yeah.
Number one, Mr. Mwangi, is awareness that anytime I get into these stressful situations or traumatic experiences that cause trauma to the baby, because that is trauma, that is emotional injury to the baby, I should always be aware so that I can be able to avoid. So if say, for example, I'm in this relationship with this guy and we are always fighting or something, I identify the triggers for me not to feel good. Because what happens, like I think mentioned the other time when we were talking about anxiety, is that anytime we are stressed, for example, for an expectant mother, the hormone called cortisol rises. And then it brings all this discomfort. And anything that the mother is feeling, the baby is also feeling. And sometimes if they are off, the fetus is maybe 20 something weeks, you hear even the baby moving, because of the discomfort. So how do we avoid? It's just identifying what triggers this trauma. Is it about my partner, so that I can maybe move away a little bit so that I can give birth? Is it something that can be resolved? I've always advised even expectant mothers to go for therapy.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Daktari, thank you so much tonight. There is a gentleman who is already asking for help, okay? And they're saying, hi, doc, how can I reach you to attend a 9-year-old diagnosed with trauma? And so I want to tell him that we will put your contacts on the screen and so they can stay on, and we'll put the your contacts there. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you that we are creating a community where we can talk about issues without judgment and to get help. That is the most important thing. So if you cannot send your questions directly on the chat, I want to encourage you to either direct message me or Janet Tutu or Daktari directly, if you don't want to put it on the chat where everyone can read. And there's one that has already come to me, and someone is asking, what happens if trauma is not addressed over a long period of time, Doc?
Yeah. Now, when trauma is not addressed for a long period of time, that is when we experience PTSD. Okay. So prolonged, because intervention, even when we have very traumatic experiences like war, like the time we end the bombing, the Westgate here in this country, interventions were done immediately, what we call psychological debriefing, so that to mitigate PTSD, because PTSD now becomes a bit complicated. You find people going for therapy even for 3 months, and medications prescribed. So what happens when trauma is not handled or intervention is not taken immediately or on time? That progresses into PTSD. And PTSD also, when it progresses, and people are also like, we are genetically we are different. The way we are made up in terms of stress tolerance. So if there are people who actually out of PTSD, if it's not treated, it provokes or triggers psychosis. So you find even most of the people who are, handling very serious mental issues like schizophrenia, like people who, quote unquote, you say they are mad, in layman's language, schizophrenic patients, you find that it was PTSD that was not handled. They were not treated, and they were genetically predisposed to. If they are so stressed, then they are pushed into psychosis. So just like we are saying, the coronavirus is mutating, even psychological or mental health issues mutate. You find trauma, childhood trauma that was not treated, moves into PTSD, then it predisposes this patient to psychosis. And PTSD also comes with other comorbidities. Other diseases come, other conditions show up because of PTSD. So you find patients with PTSD, and now we are treating them for depression. Okay. We will see patients that they are PTSD that was not treated, especially at a younger age. Then we are now treating anxiety. You find people in the rehab, we are treating SUD, substance abuse disorders, and it was PTSD that was not treated, or trauma, like we would put it. So we have all these conditions mutating into other things that would have been prevented. Over to you, Mwangi.
Okay. Yeah. Doc, someone is asking, could divorce teenagers to sexual perversion?
Please come again.
Could divorce push teenagers to sexual perversion? I think because you talked about if people do not, if this issue is not sorted, the people get involved in too much alcohol, you know, gambling, sex, and what have you. And so someone is asking, could divorce push teenagers to sexual perversion?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi. Very good question to the person who has asked that question. The answer is yes. Especially nowadays with the children, teenagers exposed too much into the internet. Most of the cases that I'm handling is actually sex diversions. Like last week, I had a child who is telling me, 16-year-old, that she doesn't understand herself. But when we go back into history, the parents are separated. Now, this is the brain of a teenager is at a very critical stage of development. Remember, this is the time that these teenagers are looking for identity. And that is why they are so prone into peer influence. You know, that is why you find they are getting into very risky behaviors. So when there is pressure and you have added into already the dilemmas and the anxieties that a standard teen experiences, and then the parents are separating, or for example, there are so many other examples that I can do, then you find a child would look for sense of belonging. They'll look for a way of numbing. So they either get into pornography, they'll get into sex, they become sex addicts. They either start getting into sexuality issues, like say, for example, gayism and lesbianism. It is because they are trying to channel that energy. And maybe home, there's no peace, or there's no home at all, because if parents are separating, and something that is becoming even more popular nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of co-parenting. I wish parents knew what they're subjecting those children, especially the teens, into. So the answer is yes, divorce would push children into other sexual deviations.
Right. Thank you so much, Dr. Asante sana. We have another question, and it says, what would you advise family, loved ones, and friends to treat people with PTSD without judging them? How can you advise them? And also, let me just combine these two. I'll add that second one, which says, if both in a couple, if both have PTSD, is it advisable to see the same therapist, or will it be better to have two different therapists?
Yes. So the first question was, Janet?
The first question was, how can you advise people to stop judging people who have PTSD?
Mm-hmm. And that question actually has an answer, Janet.
Yes. We
should not judge people with PTSD. You know, we are so quick to judge. Yes. If you have a colleague in the office, say, for example, or a sibling, like today, somebody was sharing with me the way they have had their sister with the bipolar disorder for many years. And this guy is telling me that when they were younger, they thought the sister was pretending, right? So it is very, very important to understand. And if these families are able to get a professional, they will be advised. There's something we call family therapy, and they will be psycho-educated on what is PTSD and what are they seeing. Say, for example, like I talked about children. You see a child who has been okay, they are now becoming, they have delinquency issues, you know, they're acting out, or they are withdrawing, you know, they are withdrawing. Like now I have a booking of a child who is 9-year-old, parents separated. School, this boy has started withdrawing. They are withdrawing from other, they don't want to play, you know. But what would you do? What we do ordinarily? We beat up this child, we spank them, cooler. You know, we need to understand why is the child, and that is why I'm an advocate of hands-on parenting, so that we can be able to understand. And even when I talk about hands-on parenting, I'm saying when we interact as family, let us interact intentionally, deliberately, as we are there with mindfulness. Not we are interacting with the family, but we are on our phones. That is when we will be able to notice, hey, my sister she's not behaving like she has been. She's not okay. Then you are able to ask this person, are you okay? And then they are able to tell you, know what, I'm feeling this and that, or this and this is happening to me. So the answer is understanding them and not judging them. And before you judge, think mental health. Is this person okay? Are they okay? Because if somebody has been like outgoing person, and then all of a sudden they are retracting, they are so entrenched, they don't want to talk to people, they don't anymore come, they don't comment in groups, you know. If it's a child, they have been top 10, now they have dropped, you know. You are really struggling to wake them up in the morning to go to school. They are starting bedwetting, especially bedwetting. What is it that is happening in this child? So yes, it is important not to judge these people. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Please,
you
let's
so
talk,
much.
don't judge them.
Yes.
Yeah. So the other question was the second
Seeing the same
question.
therapist. Yes. Like if a couple
Yes.
is, yeah, if a couple have both PTSD, can they see the same therapist, like what you're advising?
True, they can say the same therapist, but I always advocate, please, as you go to see the therapist, get to know the credentials of the therapist. You know, we have so many people out here claiming to be therapists, you know, so it is always important, just like the way you go to the doctor and you're asking, oh, okay, so those questions that we ask, or when you go to buy a dress, you're asking, hii ni ya wapi, hii ni ya China, hii ni ya wapi, you know, it is always important, who is seeing you? Because what happens, there's an advantage of seeing one therapist, because when it comes to doing what we call, and you can't avoid doing family therapy, the therapist is able to do family therapy very well, and then they are able to understand other dynamics of this family that could be affecting these two patients. Where are the triggers? Who are the triggers? What is triggering this whatever is happening in this family? I am saying again, it must be a trained therapist, a professional that is handling, because if you go to anybody who is not really trained to handle these things, then they mess up the family completely. You know, there are issues with values, there are issues with professional competence, because therapy is science. It is not just sitting and talking and listening. No. It is treatment, just like the way somebody would go and we prescribe medication you just take. So it is very, very important to know who are you seeing before you are messed up. Because I've had people who have not, have no faith in therapy because of their past experiences.
All right. I don't know what happens to time when we are having a good time. I will ask that people give us a maximum 10 minutes tonight, because the questions that are hitting my inbox are many, but they're amazing. I want us to tackle them, Dr. Josephine, in record time. Okay. So I want to. Someone is asking me, how do you deal with a person who does not admit that they are going through trauma, yet they are suffering PTSD?
Yeah. Now that is complicated. That is complicated, Mr. Mwangi. For you to be able to help someone, they must first acknowledge that they have a problem. Now, the challenge with most mental health issues, people from outside are the ones that see our problems. You know, you hear somebody telling you, hey, Mr. Mwangi, you are not the same. You are not the same. That's a true friend. Yeah. But it also takes time, because you also go through denial and all that. So until this person acknowledges that they have a problem, that is when they can be able to get help.
Okay. My friend Joseph Karaoke is asking, how do we unlearn our traumas?
What I would say is, Mr. Karaoke, please be your own parents, because I know most people go through, especially people who are born from the 80s, the 70s, going down. Most of people have gone through a lot of childhood trauma. So what I would say, because people went through so many things, like you are beaten over, you are beaten like with the sticks. The other day, somebody was saying there are people even who used to be put on top of where firewood is kept in the kitchen. You are beaten, then you are put there, then the smoke comes and you breathe it in. The Itara thing, Mr. Mwangi. So such things are very traumatic. Yeah. Others have grown up with parents who are not their parents, so they were beaten and overworked. others who are bullied in school. So what would I say to this person who has asked this question is learn about PTSD like you're doing right now. You're understanding the problem. Number two, practice self-care. Take care of yourself. All those things that were not done to you, do them to yourself. You know, go for therapy. Go for therapy. You know, spend time with the people who are very positive, not people who are sharing also negative experiences. You know, they will build you and they will start helping your brain to even laugh about issues or jokes, and then your brain can produce the right hormones to make you feel good. You know, then you can also do activities that can be able to, you know, bring in positive energy, and then slowly you can be able to unlearn whatever you've learned.
Awesome. Doc, someone needs help here, and they're saying that my daughter behavior dramatically changed after losing son and husband the same year. She has totally withdrawn and doesn't want to stay at home. Help them.
Oh, that is very, very traumatic. We call that complex trauma. And when with the children, by the way, it can be very, very, very bad, because then it will be seen in so many other things. What I would advise that parent is have that child see a professional, so that they can be able to, there's so many things that we do with the children, and they're able to resolve and to be able to deal with whatever loss that they went through. And you know, loss can be very, 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 and I always tell parents about loss. You know, we take kids to a burial to bury their grandparents who have been very close to them. On Monday, we take them to school without realizing that they have really been affected. So it is very important for this child to see a therapist, so that they can be able to be helped to resolve this trauma. Because you'll see all those things as they grow and they continue mutating. So from that, then now the child will move into something else. So early intervention is very, very important. Very, very, very important.
All right, so we will ask her to get in touch with you. We'll be putting your contacts right here on the screen in a short while. Okay. But before we do our parting shots, Masagara is asking, with mass mental issues affecting Kenya and the world today, and I want to throw in, during the pandemic, you know, how do we handle mass PTSD?
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi. It is true, we are dealing with mass PTSD, like you said it. And if all of us can do something small, like we are doing, like outburst, thumbs up for doing this, honestly, because you are helping many, many people, really. Thank you so much for considering to really emphasize on mental health. I would advise all of us, wherever we are, let us do something small for the society, and we will be able. Let's talk about mental health. Like we said, most people don't know that they are going through PTSD. We think it is best, it is business as usual. But I was telling someone today, the effects of COVID in terms of mental health, they'll be seen after this thing comes down. That is when we are going to see all these things, and it will be very late. So right now, early intervention is very important. Talk about it. If you see some signs, somebody has some signs in the office, they have suicidal thoughts, they are behaving in a way that is not normal, advise them to go for therapy. Let them start early. Then we can be able to, if you help one person here, another person here, if we had another outburst, like 10 outburst forums like this one, this evening, then we'll be helping millions and millions of people. Yeah. So let's take responsibility. Thank you so much.
All right. Now, Daktari, I want to throw in something. I know it will catch you unawares because I had not prepared you for it before Janet does our final fundraising. By the way, don't go if you have not sent something, okay? Janet will be doing that shortly. But Daktari, Jane Matu is a friend of ours. She has been on this platform, I think, since episode 1 of season 2. Jane Matu is saying that most people are afraid to consult or refer because of the costs involved. That's why people are not coming to you, Daktari. So what do we do in such cases? How sure are we that if an outsider is involved, the person will still be safe. Daktari, your short comments before I pose something to you tonight for the people who are watching on behalf of of our viewers.
Let me mention that, the moment we appreciate mental health care and how important it is, we are not going to see the cost. I agree. Even in my own practice, I meet people who cannot just, they have no money to pay. And I'll see them, but we have to change the narrative. Sickness is not just when we are coughing or when you have a physical hood, psychological hoods are even the worst. So let's appreciate when we go to see a therapist and there's some consultation fee to be paid. Let's just understand that we are not just going to talk. It is treatment like any other treatment. And that will be able to help us to save lives and to help people live quality lives.
Amazing. So, Doc, before we finish, your numbers are right there on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to contact Dr. Josephine Kenya, my friend, I promised you, I have at least 2 direct inboxes, messages to me. Kindly take the numbers right there. I'll give you 1 minute. But Doc, this is, I just want to make a special request for the people who are still on, because I know they are on because most of us need help. So I want to make a request on behalf of all of us, okay? As our partner, could you kindly consider giving us a special discount when we come to see you and we say, we saw you, we were with you in this forum tonight, Daktari?
Mr. Mwangi, definitely, I'm ready. Please let nobody go, not living a quality life because they cannot be able to pay so much. I am willing to do that to this team. So because that is my work, that is my call, And even before, I don't even like discussing costs before I see this person, because you may be pushing someone to pay and the next thing they are going to do is to just take a rope and you live with this guilt. So yes, I am ready to do that, Mr. Mwangi.
Oh, all right, so Jane Matu, you heard that, and Jane is saying, I handle students from difficult backgrounds, hence my concern. Jane, reach out to Dr. Josephine Kenya, her number right there, 0728 248786. There's a friend of mine who I will not read their name, but they're telling me thanks. Thank you so much. I really needed a therapist after losing my husband. My son miscarriages, and she's in depression. I'll share her name with you, Daktari, but I will want to ask her to kindly get in touch with you as soon as possible. Let not another day pass with you being in depression. Kindly reach out. Dr. Josephine tomorrow. I will share your name with her, and so that you can get help. The same with the gentleman who has a son, undergoing PTSD, who asked the question. I will share those 2 names with Daktari. Get in touch with her and she will give you a special discount. Don't even think about price. Just get in touch with her, go there, and let's figure it out from there. Before we give you a parting shot, Dr. Josephine Kenya, I want Janet to do her last thing because we said 10 minutes and we only have 3 minutes to go. Janet, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Kenya. That was a very, very informative session. So guys, I'm the Miss Moneybags. Miss Moneybags, I need to hear the ching ching. But first of all, I want to appreciate everyone who's given. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for giving. And we're here to ask you, could you kindly consider giving? Our till number is 7502 0822 750822. Kindly donate any amount that is possible. We all know what Corona has done to people. We all know what Corona has done. And our desire is to continue giving back to society. One of the places that we do want to give back is Tigio Hospice. It's a palliative care, and we will want to go and do a donation to them. So kindly do consider giving. And we are not even asking for 1 million. We're asking for 20, 50, 100, 1,000, 10,000, any that you can give, and we'll be blessed. Thank you so much for considering that, and may God bless you. Asante sana. Mwangi?
The till number 75822. Kindly send your love support right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give Dr. Josephine Kenya a chance to do her parting shot. Dr. Ari.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwangi. I appreciate this invitation, and I believe, I hope that this information and whatever we've shared today has been able to impact on different people. And I would say that people should not be afraid of therapy. Let them reach out, so that we can be able to have a healthy society, so that we don't have people separating, divorcing, fighting, killing each other, especially during this time of COVID. Otherwise, like you've mentioned, my contacts have been displayed there. Please reach out. We are located in Nairobi, Lavington area, not very far away from town. Please reach out and sell the word around. Let's talk about be all advocates of mental health, and we can be able to have a healthy society. Our organization is called Living Dreams Policy Center, and we are advocates of mental health. God bless you so much, and thank you for having me.
Asante sana, Daktari. Dr. Josephine Kenya right there from Living Dreams. What an amazing session we have had tonight. So ladies and gentlemen, whether you're going through a bad relationship, a bad marriage, a loss of a loved one, a bad institution, you're in a bad school, whatever it is you're in, you're not alone. Help is a call away. Kindly contact the doctor, contact us, and we will hook you up. Like we have said tonight, Living Dreams will be offering a special discount to you when you go there. Kindly let them know that you met in this community where we are transforming lives by enlightening minds, inspiring people, and enriching lives right here at Candid Conversation. This has been your host, and my parting shot is from Masagara, who, with his nice question, and we are saying, before you judge, think mental health. Before you judge, think mental health. Next week we will be here. It will be our grand finale of season 2, and we will be having our great Reverend Tony Kiama back because you requested for him. We are bringing him back, courtesy you, because you asked for him. We are bringing him back, and the topic will be thorns and roses. So kindly make a date with us. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell your neighbor, your workmate, even your enemies. Let them know that we'll be here next week on Tuesday. I think it will be the 8th, okay? On Tuesday the 8th, the time will be 8 to 9. We will be enjoying Thorns and Roses, courtesy Tony Kiama. Send your questions. Also, let us know what you would want us to handle in the next season, season 3. Kindly let us know. Tell us what you want us to talk about. The winners tonight are the people who asked questions, and the winners tonight for the t-shirts from Outburst are none other than Sami Masagara and Mary Nduko. We kindly get in touch with us. Give us your telephone numbers, and we will be reaching out and making sure that you receive our packs. We told you, you participate and you get a chance to win. So Mary Nduko, Sami, and Masagara, we're giving away 3, and they're coming to you. And as we wind up, I want to say a big thank you to the people who are encouraging us right here. Eunice, you're saying thank you so much. Well presented. Dr. Josephine. Tabitha Akoth is saying number, please. Akoth, sijui kama unataka namba yangu ama ya daktari. We will put all of them right there. Kindly, the team put the doctor's contacts and then our contacts, let them roll. Hilda is saying thanks. How can I be getting the ID and password directly, please? All right. Hilda, kindly get our contact, send us a text, okay? And we will be sending that out to you in a flash, all right? My friend Faith, you're saying thank you, Dr. Adalpas, for the session, insightful and an eye-opener. And then there's an iPhone there that is saying thanks for a very informative session. Blessings galore. Doctor's number, please. It was there. We will put it again. Let's put the doctor contacts. Let's put the Outburst contacts right there. And tonight, I also want to personally send a big shout out to, I saw a gentleman, Daniel Mwachofi from Sondumiriu in Kisumu Dala. We salute you. That's where our Madaraka Day special was happening. Kindly pass my regards to everyone in Sondumiriu. I am waiting. If it will not be closed, if you guys are not given, cessation of movement, I am planning to come to Sondumiriu. This has been your host, Mwangi Chege, and co-host. My co-host is muted.
Janet. And
Janet from Outburst Limited, we are saying thank you very much for making it count tonight. Have a good night. God bless you. Let's meet again. Same time, same place next week on Tuesday. God bless you. Cheers. Have a good time. Bye. Remember to follow us on social media pages. Kindly follow us on all our social media pages. And the person who asks how they can get the link, we are using the same link every week. Just use the same link next week and you will be in. Thank you. Cheers.